Greetings, welcome back to another edition of the Friday 13th YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the first 5 albums by Motley Crue who are about to be re-released and remastered on Elektra Records. Now, we all know Motley Crue are one of the pioneer bands from the LA metal scene, along with Dokken, also Rat, Quiet Riot, London, and many more excellent bands from the LA scene. Now, we all know that Motley Crue were formed in the early stages of 1981 by Nicky Sixx, who was a former member of the band London, who met Tommy Lee and put the band together with Mick Mars and Vince Neil. Now, the band would rehearse and get popularised on the LA scene, playing such places as the Cat Club. Also hanging out at the Rainbow Bar, a very popular place for a lot of musicians in the LA scene. Now, the band would release their first album, Too Fast for Love, back in 1981, and it was the first single on Leather Records, which was entitled Stick to Your Guns, Toast to Town, which is the first single. And if you've got that, it's a very rare single, along with the album Too Fast for Love on Leather Records. Very hard to find, very expensive, and if you got it, you've got a great gem there. Now, Motley Crue, for me, were one of these bands that they had the LA glam rock scene vibe, you know, the makeup and the way they dress, but they were a band that would be also appeal to some thrash metal fans. Granted, not that they don't have the thrash metal image, but the first 2 albums for me, Too Fast for Love and Shout the Devil, could appeal to thrash metal fans. Me personally, I love my thrash metal, but I did find the second album, Shout the Devil, to be one of my favourite Motley Crue album. With the debut album, Too Fast for Love, released on Leather Records, it wasn't until 1982 when the band was signed to Elektra Records and this album was re-released. Now, this album would contain 2 classic songs, Live Wire and also the song Too Fast for Love, 2 classic songs by the band which they still play live today. Now, this was a pretty good album for a debut. I mean, it set the way for the band. Now, the band released the second album in 1983 called Shout the Devil. For me, this is my personal favourite album. I remember buying this album as a kid. I remember the gatefold sleeve with a pentagram in glossy pentagram with a dark background. The band's image looked pretty cool, but every song on that album was solid. For me, it was a fantastic album. To me, it is my favourite album. And it would be also one of those albums that appealed to, I guess, some thrash metal fans. Alright, the image didn't go great with the band, but the songs were heavy and solid. So yeah, it could be borderline with some thrash metal fans out there. With the success of this album, the band got to support Ozzy Osbourne, which is a fantastic tour for this band. I mean, if you look at the songs on this album, you've got In the Beginning, then you've got Shout the Devil, the cult classic, Looks That Kill. You've got Bastards, God Bless the Children of the Beast, Helter Skelter, which is the Beatles song. Me personally, I'm not a Beatles fan, but I thought this was a cool version. Then we've got Red Hot, Too Young to Fall in Love, Knock 'em Dead Kid, 10 Seconds to Love and Danger. All those songs on that album for me were fantastic. Like I said, that is my favourite Motley Crue album. I'd like to know what you think is your favourite album. Please leave some comments and let me know. Now, in 1985, the band would release their third album, Theatre of Pain. Me personally, I thought this was a bit of a downfall for the band, with them doing such great 2 classic albums, Too Fast for Love and Shout the Devil. I remember listening to this record in a record store and I was very disappointed in it, but most Motley Crue fans up there probably like it. Me personally, I thought it was a downfall and probably the least favourite album. Now, having said that, that album had 2 classic songs that really put the band a bit higher up in the charts. We had Home Sweet Home and Smoking in the Boys' Room, 2 songs that released promotion videos for. So yeah, them songs were excellent, but the rest of the album for me didn't really do it. Again, that's personal choice. In 1987, the band released the album Girls, Girls, Girls. For me, this was more on form. The band were getting back to where they used to be in the early stages. Still more commercial, but the songs were more solid, well thought out, and some really good playing on this album. Now, this album would also feature 2 successful promotional videos released on MTV. We'd have Girls, 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 and also the song Wild Side. The band would also be playing bigger venues, massive arenas. You know, Girls, Girls, Girls was probably one of the most successful albums for the band. Having said that, Dr. Feelgood, which came next, was also a successful album for the band. And as we all know, the band also released a promotional video for this album, which was Dr. Feelgood, a highly successful song, did the band really well in the charts. Now, this album would contain 11 songs. Some really good songs on this album. We'd have Kickstart My Heart, Without You, Rattlesnake Shake. Sadly, this would be the last album with Vince Neil on vocals. The band returned back in 1994 with the album Motley Crue with John Corbin, who later on joined the Dead Daisies. So, like I said, the first 5 albums have been re-released on Elektra Records. They're really good albums, really well mastered. But these albums, I have to say, don't have any bonus material. And I have noticed these albums have been re-released in the past with bonus material. Why they haven't put any bonus tracks on this package, I don't know, but it comes in a package, 5 albums. If you haven't heard Motley Crue before and you're very interested to hear such a iconic band, then yeah, check out this box set. It's well worth getting hold of. But like I said, the only downfall for me, there's no bonus material, which the record company could have done, but the remastering sound great. So I'm going to give this package 4 out of 5. If you're a Motley Crue fan and you haven't heard them, like I said, the remastered versions, grab it today. If you're curious about Motley Crue, how they sound, grab a copy as well. Don't forget, this band were the pioneers of the LA scene and still going strong. So check them out live with Def Leppard shortly. Thanks for watching, Metalheads. Be safe and I'll speak to you soon. Stay metal, Metalheads.